Hey guys, this is Dean, and today I'm going to show you a simple concept that I use frequently in my routines, and it's called the drop set. And what I'm working on today is I'm just doing a bicep routine. It seems like really for the last several months, if not several years, I've kind of combined my bicep tricep routine into one because it's such an isolated and relatively small muscle group that it just felt like it was something that I could work in conjunction with my tricep routine, my biceps and my triceps, since it's kind of a push-pull type of situation, and opposing muscles. So to me it lended itself really well to just creating arm mass, in general. But today I'm doing just biceps. I did tricep routine the other day, and kind of gave myself a little chance to rest because at 54 I pay dearly for this stuff anymore. So what I'm going to show you today is going to real quick. Let me just kind of give you an outline of what the routine was like. It just involved 3 different movements: a seated incline bicep curl with a dumbbell, then a seated hammer curl with a dumbbell, and then a standing curl with a cambered bar. So I've done this, and what I've done, or what I've been doing, is all 3 of these exercises back to back without really any rest until the end. And then I sort of added calf raises to it because calves and abs, like I've said many times before, probably don't get as much attention as some of the other muscle groups tend to, and they can be worked more frequently without any penalty as far as recovery. And I'm trying to get my calves up a little bit. The size is probably proportional, but to me it could be bigger. So anyway, what I got going here is this bicep routine with these 3 movements, and I'm kind of burning out. When you do these multiple movement type routines, and you're doing them consecutively without really any rest, you burn out quicker. So to compensate for that, and to keep the intensity up and the volume up, of repetitions, what I do is I drop set. So I'm going to get this set up real quick, and then I'm going to shift the camera, and I'm going to go through all 3 movements basically right here in this one area. And I'm going to try, I've got 2 sets of power blocks, so I'm going to essentially get them set up for the first drop, while I'm seated here on the first movement, and then I'm just going to have to shift on the fly. So, like I said, let me get this set up, and then I'm going to run through it real quick, and I'll show you what drop setting is. And what drop setting is basically is when you start to burn out and your rep count isn't really what you think it should be. The best way, especially if you're on a machine like one of those plate-loaded pin machines where you can just pull the pin and shift weight and keep on going. The idea behind it is, okay, I'm on my 3rd round, my 4th round through my exercises, and I'm only getting 4 or 5 reps. That's not enough. If I even doing these compound routines with multiple movements, I don't care. I don't care what. 4 reps, 5 reps, not enough. 8 minimum, 12 if I can, or somewhere in that range at least. So in order to maintain that kind of volume, what you can do is, and what I'm going to do is, you drop the weight. You do as many reps as you can. This is much easier with dumbbells when you got a whole rack of them, and there's really nobody in your way in your gym, and you have access to the thing, and you can just basically stage yourself down without having to get interrupted. At home I can do this, but with these power blocks I have to, it takes a few seconds to shift the weight around a little bit. But anyway, the drop set is basically, like let's say I start at 40 pounds on a curl. I do as many as I can, and then I drop down to 30. If I was in a gym and I had access to something that where I could just pick up the weight, and keep moving, I'd probably go down 5 pounds at a time. It just depends. But in this case, I'm going to have to go down 10. So I do as many reps as I can with, let's say, the seated incline, and then I drop the weight and I continue. and then I drop the weight and I continue. And I usually drop at least 3 times. 3 times is pretty good. I mean, if you're doing a routine like this with 3 movements and you're dropping 3 times, then really you're doing 9 sets in a 3 movement routine, okay, at one time, and really with no rest in between. So I'm going to get this set up. Like I said, I'm at my 3rd round of this, and it's starting to get a little harder, and going up in weight would be foolish because my rep counts dropped significantly. So I'll get it set up, and then I'm going to shift the camera angle, and I'll show you what I'm talking about where it comes to drop setting. I have 30s set up right in front of it, and then what I'm going to do is I'll just pull the pins on probably the set I'm using and go down to 20 and just keep going. So basically I'm doing a seated incline dumbbell curl, okay, and I'm going to do 3 sets, as many as I can, and then I'm going to shift over to my seated hammer curls, change the weight again, probably go back to where I was initially, maybe, and we'll see, and then do my drop set there, and then I'll probably have to set this bar up, this cambered bar, because I haven't really gotten it, the way I need it. But anyway, let's get started. This is the first set, and I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do 2 drops, so 3 sets consecutive. Astounding to have gotten 8. One more. That was 25 actually. So we'll go to 20. Okay. So 4 sets. I got 4. I was really kind of amazed to get the 8 reps out of the 40. But that's a drop set. Drop set used for maintaining intensity, increasing volume, and increasing the thing I keep mentioning over and over and over again, time under tension. Time under tension. So what I'm going to do now, excuse me, I'm going to set up the seated hammers and basically do the same thing. So I mean, this is a good way when you're in the middle of a routine, or I should say coming to the end of a routine, and you're really starting to burn out. If you wanna make the most of it, then I suggest that you start figuring out a way to incorporate drop sets in your routine. Just a way of continuing, to lift. The muscles are still being, stressed in a way that facilitates growth, and you're not at risk of, essentially or potentially hurting yourself because you're pushing too hard. So Anyway, the drop set. You know, use it frequently. Thanks.